Welcome to Now Be You podcast. This is a space for women who lead, create, and carry responsibility, and who want to stay grounded, clear, and true to themselves while doing it. I'm Leonora, a mentor in embodied leadership and personal transformation. And in these conversations, we go beyond achievements and titles to explore the real turning points, doubts, and choices that guide us back to who we truly are. I continue these conversations in Now Be You Substack, where I share reflections and guided practices to help you slow down, think clearly, and reconnect with yourself. Today I'm with Mirjam Gaggl, who is a founder of the School of Silence and works with people in times of transition, guiding them back into clarity, presence, and a deeper connection with themselves. Her path is shaped by a unique combination of life experiences from businesses, luxury real estate, and corporate work. So today we are talking with Mirjam about the unseen world and how we can bridge to day-to-day reality. So welcome, Mirjam.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you for being.
Thank you.
Thank you for being in this presence of life, and I'm happy to ask you first of all, before anything, what does being yourself mean to you today compared to 10 years ago?
Wow, that's an exciting question. Well, 10 years ago, I was completely another person, woman. 10 years ago, I was still married. I was having a corporate job as a lawyer, living together with my husband and having a 9-to-5 job, basically. And today it's none of that anymore. So 10 years ago, I had a very structured life. And nevertheless, through all the structure and through all that you do as a mother, as a wife, as an employee, I never stopped doing what my heart was calling me. So I was always following my soul path, always doing the energy work, and having a deep faith in everything that you would call the unseen world.
You know, so interesting listening to you is like I met you in totally different reality. Yes. As you are telling me who were you 10 years ago, and it's so interesting. I would never say that you've had that reality. Mm-hmm. If one person I would mention that can live a different reality would be you.
Thank you.
And we really met so, let's say, untraditionally, yeah? We met, we saw each other, and we understood that we know each other, we're gonna work together, and we trusted from the first glance, not even the word. So that talks a lot about your work, that we're gonna go deeper, but I would like to go back in that 10-year or even more before. Yes. Mirjam, who was doing all this work that normally people do, yeah? And it's that's the reality we call, for example. And you were married, you said. And I wanted to hear more what happened, what shaped your today's reality that you are totally different.
Yes, life happened. Life happened, you know. And my husband, with whom I was really close, so you would call like a soul mate, and he was also very much into spirituality. He died 8 years ago, and he transitioned. He went, we said, to the next room. And that, of course, put my whole life upside down, because until that point, I was always supporting my partner, my husband, in their work. So the father of my son, I was supporting him when I was together with him. And then my husband, I was supporting him in his world. But when he died, all of a sudden, a alchemical process started. Because I started to ask myself, and now what? Whom to support now? What am I here for? What is my goal, my mission, my passion? Who am I? truly.
How did you feel at the time? What was the feeling in your body, in your mind, in your emotions? Were you lost? Were you knowing yourself at that very moment when finally your husband was not that projection for you to hide?
It was, I didn't feel lost. I felt, of course, sadness, grief, but my trust in life and my faith always kept me. And that's where the unseen world meets the real world. Always in phases like this, when you have big trust, then it was always holding me and guiding me.
Okay, so for example, if someone right now listening and might not ever experience that feeling, you know, where you're never alone, can you describe a little bit more in precision how, for example, for a person to recognize, because we all heard about it, that we're never alone, we are supported, we are guided. Can you help us to understand step by step how we can feel this when we are alone, when we are lost, when we don't know what's going to happen?
Well, yes, that's a good question. So I would say the first step is, if I would cut it down, the first step is to even open up for the possibility that something else is there rather than the normal life or a physical being to help you. So that the possibility that something else that you don't even think of can come in and help you. And if you call it faith, if you call it God or love or whatever, that it's even possible. And in the moment you open up and say, okay, I'm so lost, I'm so sad, and I don't know where to go or what to do. In this moment, when you really put the white flag, you know, of the war, of trying to control, trying to know the answer, trying to know the next steps. So there were deep, deep moments of total capitulation and surrender. And in these moments, something else is standing up and saying, and it's nothing that you can grasp. It's nothing even that you can explain. It's there.
It's so beautiful.
Something is standing up, and you might not even recognize it, or you cannot even put names on it. And in the moment, it's just like, oh, I'm feeling better today. Oh, I can even, put on some clothes and make some food or whatever. So little moments. And with this, if you keep faith in that, if you keep noticing them and step by step trusting this process, that even if you don't know, if you finish your job, if you lost a beloved one, or if you are in another transition, lost a house or whatever, even if you don't know and going totally into the unknown, something will appear if you open up for the possibility.
It's so powerful what are you saying that, because I remember myself since the very young days, I would always repeat to myself to the worst situations where I would be in foreign country, lost the plane in the middle of the night, a young girl in the country you don't know, the language you don't speak. And I would constantly repeat myself, there is no situation with no solution. It's always there is a way. There is a way, there is a will. And I would just go with the mantra and I would say the magic will appear. And definitely what you are saying, I just small examples, people would appear, a support would come, a hotel for free would happen, a plane ticket would appear, so many things that we try to control and we are overwhelming ourselves. So in this moment, what you are saying, when you lost your husband and he was so close to you, and the women or men, anyone who are hearing, and there are many maybe very freshly in their situations where they feel really alone or lonely because they lost someone very close. That's the trust you can build within you and actually nourish every day. Just knowing that not only physical world can help you, but something beyond, through things that can happen, it can appear in front of you.
Exactly. And also having and hearing maybe now my story, that I was not intending to have this alchemical process to grow out and now to be this new version of myself.
What do you call alchemical process?
Like an alchemical process is when you become somebody else.
Uh-huh.
So when you transition, when you are in a transition, and when the alchemy of all the things we want to avoid, these are the best ingredients, you know, loss, grief, distraction, confusion, uncomfortable scenes all the time, you know, finally thinking, oh, now I'm there, now I'm feeling better, and then the next day, woof, it's going again, a new wave is coming.
So when you stop controlling and
when
surrendering.
I stop controlling and when I stop believing in that, stop believing in life, believing that life holds me, that it has my back, then the magic unfolds.
And this is very interestingly guiding us to that your work, when you say that you making the invisible becoming visible. So how would you explain that to a woman that doesn't believe in any of it, who's running a company, managing a team completely in her head and never heard before about it? How can you describe very tangibly?
Yes. I would say I would stop trying to describe it with words. I would stop going through the mental process and guide this woman into an experience. So the unseen can be experienced. That's the simplest way in having one single experience with a reconnection, for example, to your inner self, or when you were full of anxiety or distrust or uncomfortable feeling. And during the process of trusting this, and during the process of, for example, attending the School of Silence retreat or a session, or even connecting with this field. Because for me, silence is not a technique. Silence is a vibration. Silence is something that is always there, which you don't have to look for, so or invent. So the silence is the basic foundation where everything is built on.
So before we going deeper into silence, can we come back to the example, like practical example? Maybe there are a few, I'm sure you have many examples of the stories in your work.
So
what's happening for the person to really experience the invisible as visible?
To experience the invisible is to experience yourself. The moment she lets go of control of what is the next step, where to go, she is opening up for the magic, I would call it. She experiences herself, and it can then be that she totally is relaxed.
I know you had a lot of experience with your clients where the invisible become visible. And what would be the most tangible experience for your clients to experience this invisible world?
Well, what always happens is that they change their behavior, they change the way they think. So women who are in full anxiety and always being afraid of losing the job, and everything in their life feels very overwhelming. After this contact, the life changed. They're totally in peace. They felt like they had holiday for 3 weeks after a weekend retreat. They were so relaxed. And they lost, for example, the fear of swimming in the ocean. Or they suddenly can sleep in the night. Or they are completely differently talking to themselves, to their inner voice and to their partners. So other people, and they look younger, for example. That's something that often happens. They feel younger. Or a woman just called me up and she said, she said that in a moment the retreat was finished, she remembered all her vocabulary Italian vocabulary she learned years ago because something shifted and she got access to this knowledge what she totally forgot. So things like this are happening, and with everyone is very individual.
So it's like swiping dust from the shelves, and
Right.
you are starting to see something
Right.
with the new eyes.
So the nervous system gets relaxed, the body can relax, the inner face is dimming up, and she gets a sense of how it is. She remembers of how it is when she is only herself. No posing, no thinking, no coping, no manipulation against. So this deep connection does something that it's hard to describe with words.
It's reset the whole system, like a little bit,
yes.
as I understand, if something you correct me.
Yeah.
As a computer, we do
Yeah.
a deep restart process, and everything, all the programs refresh, we clean unnecessary programs, and suddenly the speed takes it over, and the work is better, and everything
Right.
is just serving you.
Right.
Can we call the invisible as meeting your true self?
As well, yes.
And
Meeting the true self, connecting, remembering, igniting. It has always something to do with light and with ignition and with confirmation of what you already are. So there's nothing to do, or there are no steps to do. It's more like let go of everything what you are not. So, and that's also what is deeply connected to silence, is the emptiness. To become really empty. And for women, it's good news, actually, not only for women, for everybody, that they don't have to do something or go somewhere or learn this or learn that, because the book memory is, you can read 1,000 books, but one single experience where you feel, and the whole system relax. And then you go out and the life is the same life. You drive the same car, you go home and lie in the same bed, but everything changed. Everything is different because energy shifted.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start to speak with different words. You see it from a different angle. You love yourself. The people, the women, they start to love themselves. They don't even need to lose weight or to put on any artificial
It's
things.
like a liberation from your own conditioning.
Yes.
And it's not about outside. It's more
not about outside.
Inside.
So
and
that's
I love this. I love this phrase. What you are like, you sharing this description, and I just remember the phrase, my favorite phrase of Lao Tse. He says the wise person lives in one life, many lives, many lifetimes.
Oh, beautiful! Yes.
Versus one linear lifetime. Yeah. And I see your life multifaceted as a woman who were in so many businesses, different kind of roles, and still, since you were very young, you've been connected to unseen world.
Yes.
How did you manage in daily life? How did you navigate it, being a lawyer or working in the pharmaceutical or doing, real estate businesses? How did you navigate the sensitivity, the motherhood? Yeah.
Yes. I have to be honest and say that the unseen world always helped me to navigate the normal life, because there was this trust. There was this inner knowing that I'm not alone no matter what comes. And I lived a normal life, but I always implemented practices or my, I would say, energetic work into normal life. That's why my techniques, what I teach and share in the School of Silence, are very practical, are very simple, they are quick, and they work.
Oh, we can't.
Because I had to do it. I had to do it meanwhile driving the car, brushing my teeth, and my most favorite place is the toilet. Because, you know, I did all the cleaning stuff in the toilet. It's a perfect place. You go to the toilet 3, 4, 5 times. If you do a practical thing, 30 seconds, and you're done. And as a mother, as a woman, as a partner, you don't have a lot of time for this. So everything I did, I implemented it in the normal life, and that's what I love, and that's why everything is very practical and grounded, and yes,
sounds very how to say, promising. So I'm hearing from the listeners, and I'm like, okay, so she must be very advanced, you know, doing it in 30 seconds. How advanced people have to be to do the practices like you are saying?
Not at all. Not at all. You don't have to know anything. Actually, if you have not done any spiritual work or energetic work at all, it's the same technique, because it's very simple.
So you're talking about technique, which we're going to get closer, and I do believe you're going to share with listeners also about practices for them to use in their quick days, quick short resets and recalibrations. But I want to come to that moment when the School of Silence was born. And why is the School of Silence?
Well, that brings us a little bit again into a magical world. The School of Silence was born not out of a concept that I sat down and said, okay, I need a marketing idea. The School of Silence really came to me. The School of Silence came to me through a transmission that I was lying or still employed in Croatia with my bikini under an olive tree. And all of a sudden, an energy which I find is the energy of the divine, was manifesting in front of me. And I started to hear the words. And so I pressed on record on my cell phone and just were repeating everything that I heard for 50 minutes.
Like clearly hearing
it. And that started, the whole process with that hearing from the other side started after the death of my husband. Because he came back. When he died, I said to him, listen, come back and tell me how it is on the other side.
Oh, you were smart.
Yes.
You left the
and
connection.
He kept his promise. He came back and he told me how it is on the other side. But of course, with this opening up and even, you know, allowing that voices and energies are coming, of course, my sensitivity opened also up. And one day, this happened, for example. One day, this voice clearly said to me, you are here to install the School of Silence. Something I have done in other dimensions already, and something that I should also do here now. And I was like, School of Silence? Like, what? Tell me more. And so a conversation started. And
this voice was directing you clearly, step by step, what you shall do and how the practice should be established for other people.
She explained everything what I was asking. She is this energy is still guiding and present when I do retreats, and it's like a little bit like a business plan, although it sounds weird maybe, but she was totally guiding me. And she said this energy, what I found, it's very similar to the Divine Mother. She said, your teaching is emptiness. And that's why mostly in my retreats I should not have a plan. She said, don't have a plan. The people who are there will be guided to be there in the moment, for the space, it will be created. So it's a different texture of the techniques and the retreats what we used to have, where you know there is a schedule.
Yes.
So people have to really trust, because I don't know what will happen, and the people.
How long did it take for you to build this School of Silence, the system, the teachings?
Well, it's not a closed system. It's still building. It's still an everyday life. It's an experience. It's a transmission more than a system. But it took me actually, 3 years and more. She said, start little, start with your group, and then do one-day retreats, then weekend retreats, and only do when you have fun. So the most important thing, before she closed, she said, just feel if you have fun with it and if you love it, then do it.
I think this advice can be used for everyone.
Yes, yes.
We just forget.
Yes, it was very, very, very important.
And this guidance and trust. Did you trust all the time? Did you ever doubt the voice?
Of course. The voice not, but of course I had my self-doubt. So the doubt was not in the voice or in the guidance, but the self-doubt, because I was putting myself into so much pressure. Now that you finally know what to do and you don't fulfill it in the speed, in the scene world. So there were self-doubts and still are. I'm still in the process.
So wait a minute, invisible world, let's call it like this, or spiritual world is the same like corporate world. You get the task, you know everything, you get all the energy, all the money, and you're still under pressure. You still have to perform. What's happening? So do we have it?
That's really good. I never saw it like this, but that's good. Yeah, but of course it's not it's not like a pressure in the corporate world.
Yes, I hear you.
But interesting enough, the first thing she even said to me before mentioning all the schools is there is no time and I should not stress about anything. And I need to read that message over and over and over again as soon as I start to stress myself, because the pressure is not coming from outside. It's always my inner pressure.
Yes, this is what we're creating. It is so interesting. There is no time. We should not create this pressure.
I don't need to do anything at a certain point, and I only need to do only do it when you feel it, when you're full of joy,
when you feel
when
fully
it
passionate.
gives you joy, vividity.
So let's come back to your real life and the reality of what, let's say, people who might, like busy women who are holding all the corners in their houses and leading the companies and bringing up children and so many other tasks. And they might listen to us and say, okay, it's good for you to talk about it, but in the reality, it's not the reality, because we have the time frames, the schools, the kids, and you are a mother. How were you combining this reality of invisible, where is no time, no pressure, no construct, and the reality where you've been doing businesses, you've been providing tasks, and you've been taking care of a child who was also having and providing you a lot of challenges with his inabilities?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this was a very intense time, I have to say. And I implemented little things like really 30 seconds, 1 minute practices during the normal life. So I was not taking a special class or going somewhere, but during walking, while driving, for example, I always did a special mantra, the Gayatri mantra, for example. Before I was falling asleep, there is no falling asleep and no waking up. And this does not take a lot of time, that I just say, thank you for the day. I welcome the day. I do still my morning practices in the bed, putting the cover away and scrolling with my feet, and then praying to God, saying thank you for the day, inviting everything that I need. And this is 1 or 2 minutes. But still you have set the tone. You are positive, you have connected to yourself and to everything that you need, and you're sending out the good vibe.
So positivity, gratitude before going to sleep and waking up in the morning is one of the key practices you were doing even you were in the most stressful situations.
Yes. So
how did it
this
help
little
you?
thing, it helped me. It helped me to change the perspective. Because when you're in the movie and when life takes over, you're only functioning, you're in autopilot. And these little dots where you connect basically to the source, to yourself, however you want to call it, if it's God, the absolute, or it's just your inner spark, remind you that there is something bigger. And the more often you connect to that, and I can give an exercise to it, which I really recommend, and which I did really every hour. And I'm just going to tell you and share you how I did it. If you practice it during the time, then you feel that it's not so dangerous anymore, that you forget that life takes over. Because the more often you do it, little practices, you know.
So Mirjam, what do most people misunderstand about silence?
Most people misunderstand silence because they make it so complicated. They make it something that you have to be very long already practicing, or in a cave or somewhere outside of the normal life. But the magic lies that you put it into normal life. So most people think that silence is like a Vipassana retreat where you have to withdraw for 10 days, not allowed to look in any eyes, not physical contact. So the school of silence is just the opposite, because silence can be while dancing, while eating, while even being angry and shouting. So silence can be really loud. And that's the misunderstanding, because they separate it from the normal practical life. And my mission and my heart goes that you combine it again, that you bring it back to where it is.
How long does it take to practice silence in everyday life?
It can be a second or 30 seconds. It can be a practice, a very powerful practice, actually, that changed my life, is within 10 to 15 seconds. It's one exhalation.
So coming closer to the practice, this is what I wanted to ask you about our listeners. One thing you would like them to take away from our conversation in a practical way. What would that be?
I would recommend to practice the Quantum Stillness Drop. So that's a practice which
Quantum Stillness Drop.
I called it Quantum Stillness Drop, and it takes only the length of an exhale. So I practiced this during my normal job, and I set a meeting every full hour. I had a meeting with myself doing this one breath practice. And you can do it wherever you are, during walking, during a call or a meeting, even now.
But you have to be alone with
this.
yourself in silence?
No. So this is very simple. This technique is very simple. So it's like
one inhale, one exhale.
It's like a refreshment. It's like a little wellness within 5 to 10 seconds. And when you practice this again and over every hour, for example, you make yourself an appointment, or you set a timer. And this you can do during between meetings, or cleaning, or talking.
Any improvisation in your daily life, just allowing yourself to drop in this presence and into this. Is this the moment to go back to silence, to the people who never revisited the silence or experienced silence in their daily noisy lives?
Yes, I would say yes. This is the moment where you drop into the stillness of your mind, of wanting, of doing, of trying to figuring out, and allow that this stillness is just there, without that it needs to give any answers or needs to provide you with what you are lacking at the moment. And if you, let's just try it really together. Again, if you inhale, and then make a conscious exhale, let's just And whenever you feel like you want to inhale again, you just inhale and go back to life. But what happens? Your memory of the cells, your nervous system, your whole physical body, your fascia, everything gets multiple times a day like a reset, like a holiday.
I feel already as
Yes,
like after spa.
I see your whole
Like my
change.
head just relaxed, my body.
Even the hair,
Yeah.
everything starts to relax. And the more often you do it, you will. That's what I experienced when I did it every hour. You can do it 3 times a day, 1 time a day, or every hour, or every half an hour, depending on how strict you want to go or how fast you want to go. But you will stay there. You do your normal life, but this level of relaxation and connection, right? You feel connected, although you're talking, you're doing everything, but this tone, this frequency of silence, this healing is going to be always there. If you practice this, and you will forget about it because it's too simple, and you will think, it's too simple, it cannot work. But I tell you, it works, and it changed my life. It has the potential to change the life, and you don't need to book a course for every woman there. No need to take additional money or time or anything. It's one breath in and out, and then you're there.
Thank you so much, Mirjam. I feel like after a spa, after a retreat, after a course.
Thank you.
And also, I want just before we are closing our conversation and taking away with me this experience to tell that the less is more.
Yes.
And with that, life becomes more and more.
That's true.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And question to you, dear listeners, what are you taking from this conversation? Please share your thoughts in the comments. If this conversation resonated, I share deeper reflections and guided audio practices in Now Be You Substack, a space to slow down, think clearly, and reconnect with yourself in the middle of a full life. Few times a year, we bring this work into real life through carefully curated retreats, where leading women step away from the noise, reflect, and return with clarity and renewed direction. Subscribe to Now Be You Substack and find out more. Until next time, stay yourself.